Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today, because the last time I checked, the Vice President of the United States is the President of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose? But I guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator.
Don't stop the tourism. Send people here. Don't discourage people from visiting the Northeast. We're your friends. We're your allies. We have ties that are cultural and familial and economic. And let's find a way to continue, at least between and among eastern provinces and Canada and the Northeast. Let's find a way to keep things going, to keep things working, while hopefully, some of this federal business resolves itself.
Love you to visit us. I live in Burlington, Vermont, 50 miles away from the Canadian border. Somehow, in Canada and in countries all over the world, they have determined that health care is a human right, not a privilege. The function of today's broken and cruel healthcare system is not to provide quality care to all. It is to make huge profits for the insurance companies and the drug companies. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Health care a human right? Is health care a human right?
In the way that free speech is a human right,
yeah.
I would say it's different, because with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now taking from the pool.
The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop.
You're not just complicit in this, you're actively helping and profiting. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than $1 million worth of your shares in Trump Media stock? Trump Media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. I yield back.
May I answer that, Chairman? I complied with my ethics, and yeah, I would take a class in financial literacy if you think I profited from that, because I lost a tremendous amount of money. Congresswoman, and also on page 25 of my SJ2, it lists my involvement with Qatar for anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Thank you.
The department is planning to separate several thousand service members due to your partisan beliefs about troops who are transgender. Mr. Secretary, I've seen your speeches and social media posts, but what I'm interested in is the sound policy analysis that we would expect from the Secretary of Defense on how this misguided decision will impact military readiness. My colleagues and I have requested this information from you, and we are still waiting to receive it. And so I will ask you now, what assessment did the Department of Defense conduct prior to implementation to evaluate the impact that this policy would have on our national security? Moreover, what is the cost to recruit and train thousands of individuals of comparable experience and skill?
Thankfully, recruiting is not an issue. It's at historically high levels, and we're proud of the cross-section of Americans that
What
are joining.
analysis did you do?
We did extensive analysis, Senator, and we agree with the assessment of the executive order that was issued by the White House that there are mental health issues associated with gender dysphoria that complicate military service and readiness, and as a result, we made the decision.
I have asked for that analysis. Please provide it to me and the committee.
You turned around and did whatever you want. You fired all 17 members.
I'm complying with all the agreements that I made
Mr.
with
Secretary,
Senator Cassidy.
You're now on the record. You lied to Senator Cassidy. You have lied to the American people. You have lied to parents about vaccines for 20 years. And I also want to be clear that I will lay all responsibility for every death from a vaccine-preventable illness at your feet. I yield back.
Our briefing is outrageous, it's evasive, it's derelict. They're bobbing and weaving and ducking. Senators deserve full transparency. There is a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening. What are they afraid of? Why won't they engage Congress in the critical details? The results of the recent strike, the scope and trajectory of the conflict, the administration's long-term strategy to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons, the potential risks facing American citizens and our service members, who we all have an obligation to protect.
Did you survey employees that was there about waste, fraud, and abuse? Do you believe was occurring at the agency? Did you survey?
We
Since you
know
said
that there's waste, fraud, and abuse.
Did you survey the employees? Yes or no?
What?
Yes or no?
These are ridiculous
Did
questions.
you serve? Simple answers. You either did or you didn't.
Yeah, I guess survey means talk
Did
to
you
and
do
ask
it or not?
questions. Sure, we did.
You did? Then you can provide those surveys. You can show us a record of who you
We
talked to.
did not run an expensive survey, but I've talked to many people at the state.
You didn't do. So you didn't do that either. So this was based on a whim. Okay.
Ranking member, time has expired. I want to thank you for your.
Not my argument. That was the policy of the last 4 years of the Biden administration with open borders. You could come back and forth across our borders. You could buy guns. You could take guns off the street. You could shoot people in our country. You could bring fentanyl into our country. You could bring methamphetamine into our country. You could bring cocaine into our country. That was the previous administration.
No.
Not this.
What are you doing to stop the flow of weapons into Mexico?
We are arresting flow of weapons our borders are closed. We are arresting illegal cartels. Sinaloa from Mexico, MS-13 from El Salvador, TDA. We are arresting from Venezuela. ATF has seized over 14,600 guns since Donald Trump has been president. That's a 33% increase from the last administration. And think about that. That's with our borders secure.
Were they coming into
they weren't doing anything.
Were they coming into the United States?
Our borders are closed. They're not coming in or out of the United States now across Mexico.
This is dangerous. Children are getting sick and dying. Secretary Kennedy is giving a platform to people who lie about vaccines to the American people. When Kennedy appeared before this committee, I said I did not want any more tiny coffins in our country. I meant it, and I hope you will be forceful in pushing back against Secretary Kennedy's wrong assessment and messaging on vaccines in our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you think the impact on the health and well-being of the American people are if 16 million low-income and working-class people are thrown off the health care they currently have?
My understanding is that no one will lose access to health care, and that the work that is
No one will lose access to health care?
The work that is being done is to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. And
Dr. Menares, I don't think there's anybody else in the world who thinks that when you throw 16 million people off the health care they have by making massive cuts in Medicaid with the Affordable Care Act, that no one is going to lose access to health care. All right, I understand you're in a difficult position. Thank you very much for being here.
The whole country knows that our healthcare system is not working for anyone, not for the doctors and nurses, not for the admin staff who work in the system, and definitely not the patients. Is there a single American who thinks that healthcare is working well? I know this issue better than most. When my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, she did not have insurance. She had let it lapse after she couldn't afford it. And while she was fighting for her life, we were fighting the insurance companies just to get her care. In the most powerful country in the world, all people deserve access to care. It's a core reason I ran for office. Tomorrow, President Trump and the Republicans are going to try and finish the job they started during Trump's first term, cutting your health care.
Here's the truth.
The only
People are going to die. These hospitals are going to close. Labor and delivery units are going to disappear. If mental health services are stripped away, that's the consequence of your policies. And look, you've already shown that you don't have a grip on your department. You don't know basic things that are on your website or programs that are closing.
Gentlelady's time has expired. The chair now recognizes.
Can you confirm that you agree that this administration should follow court orders?
We will follow court orders, Senator. The entire administration will follow court orders. The problem arises in the district courts. All these district courts throughout the country are tying our hands. And here's how we will follow them when we get to the United Supreme Court.
I need to ask
we're
you
winning.
a number of questions.
And so, yes,
I know
we're
you want
following the
filibuster,
orders of the court.
Let me ask my questions. Can you confirm you will not allow any conduct like what is alleged to continue at the DOJ?
I'm not going to talk about anything that's alleged. What I will talk about with you, hold on, you asked me a question and I get to answer it. What you asked me, alleged conduct that's part of a pending whistleblower lawsuit that was filed on the eve prior to Emil Bove's hearing today.
I'm not asking about
highly
that
suspicious. Hold on, let me keep going. I would run through a wall for Emil Bove and Todd Blanche.
Continue with my questions. I have very limited time.
Mr. President, we owe it to the American people, and I owe it to the people of North Carolina, to withhold my affirmative vote until it's demonstrated to me that we've done our homework. We're going to make sure that we fulfill the promise, and then I can feel good about a bill that I'm willing to vote for. But until that time, I will be withholding my vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill, now on the floor of the Senate, is the most dangerous piece of legislation in the modern history of our country. It is a gift to the billionaire class while causing massive pain for low-income and working-class Americans. Actually, though, Mr. President, I'm wrong. This is not a gift to the billionaire class. They paid for it. This bill is an absolute reflection of a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. And when billionaires spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars trying to elect a president or a senator or a member of Congress, they're not making that investment just for the fun of it. They want something in return.
Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax that would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The president made his position quite clear to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister called the president last night to let the president know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
Americans will be poorer. They will be sicker because of my Republican colleagues, because they are falling in line instead of standing up for their people back home. This bill shows us their priorities, and it's not you. They are taking away your health care to give more money to the very wealthy. This bill is for billionaires, not for you. I yield.
But the American people chose overwhelmingly. They chose the Republican Party. And the reason they did that, they didn't come hesitantly. They came with hopeful anticipation. You know why? Because this is not your father's Democratic Party, okay? They went so far, full speed, to the far left. And their radical, woke, progressive agenda, that nonsense that they tried to push on the people, was rejected by the people.
Yeah. Stealing food away from the neediest children, seniors, and veterans won't make us any stronger. Giving billionaires a tax break won't make us any richer. Children will go hungry. Seniors will lose their health care. Students will lose their financial aid. Hospitals will close. Americans will die. I urge my Republican colleagues to stand up, grow a spine, stop bowing down to your king, Donald Trump, represent your constituents like you were elected to do, and vote no on this horrible, big, ugly bill.